Alright, what you see here is a KDK industrial ceiling fan, model B56YK. This is a brown and brass industrial ceiling fan that, or in some ways you can call it a residential fan because in the Dominican Republic where I got this from at a pawn shop, they are used in residential locations as well. But that's more so due to the heat down there, so in a way they could be used as both, but if they're having metal blades, I feel like it's definitely more appropriate to call it an industrial fan. Whereas if it had plastic blades, I feel like it would be more appropriate to call it a commercial-ish one. But it's also really the only industrial they sell down there that's really of industrial grade, ceiling fan wise. So because of that, I feel like it's most appropriate to call it an industrial fan. But yeah, this fan is one I got back in December of 2019, right when my uncle passed away. Yes, the uncle that got me the KDK and that newer one, the white one. And I'm talking about the KDK that was in my bedroom at the old apartment. The one that I showed taken apart and then assembled way back when I first started the channel. He's also the one that bought the one that's the 2004 one in my grandmother's bedroom in the Dominican Republic, as well as the brown and brass one that's currently in the dining room. But yeah, he was definitely an uncle that really supported my enthusiasm for fans and such. So when I found this right after he passed away, like while I was down there, it was really hit home. So I just went and bought it. I remember I was actually with him the first time I saw these brown and brass KDKs. At that church, they had 11, no, formerly 12. They had one up front in the waiting area, but then they swapped it out with a Hunter Stratford and put that one in the confession room and such. But that one had the white on it. But yeah, that church with those 11 of them that I showed running. Those were the first time I ever saw this version of the KDK. I saw the completely brown one before that, but it was up until 2003 I saw this version. And after that, I never saw the all brown ones again until I found the one at that dentist place and the place where I filmed a few brown ones from outside. And unfortunately, that place that had the completely brown ones and they did have a few white ones in there, but they've renovated the place since and they've removed them all, unfortunately. I don't know what they did with them, but they definitely didn't throw them out. They probably just gave them to workers or sold them or something like that. But I already have one for myself, so I'm not really too worried about finding more of them. If I can, I definitely would, but it's also easy for someone to paint one that color as well. Because the motor housing, that's exactly like the white one. It's just in that brown finish. Whereas this one, as you can see, has a more ornate motor housing to the bottom, which is something you don't really see on industrial fans, so that's what's really unique with this. But yeah, well, I like how it really is like a callback to like some of the earlier KDK fans from like the 80s era and such that you saw in the United States with the some people call it this. It's like one of the versions of the Royal Air. I know Metal Dance If You Knew Me did a video of one that he had new in a box a while back and such, but so it really like has like elements from that one, especially with the bottom design and all that. But yeah, they still sell one that looks just like it. It's just a little bit different looking. The blades point a little bit more upwards. The blade design's different. It doesn't have those three bolts. They have the line that goes across it and a few more of them that go across it from like down here and such. But yeah, this one's definitely an older one from like the 2000 up until 2006 because it doesn't have the newer blade design to it. But and so that's definitely like a better one right there. Because the blades from that era don't rust up so easily like the newer ones from 2007 and onwards. No, like the 2009 period and up to 2011, that was the worst period for KDK, and then they started improving it after, starting to build up back up their reputation a little bit afterwards, but still not the same like it used to be. Kind of like with Hunter, they were really doing good, then they cheapened up, and then they had a really down low like around 2009, 2012 era, and then they slowly started to pick it back up a little by little, but still have some cheaper ones, but they still have some good ones as well. But yeah, these you don't see like for sale almost ever. I always find the white ones from this era. I see these out in public, the brown and brass ones, but finding them for sale is what's really tricky, because a lot of people like to hold on to them because they're nicer, and they usually use them more in residential locations and such. You see them in stores as well, but it's not as often. But it depends on the store. Yeah, there's the KDK sticker right up there. That's not the original one from this fan. It's actually a different one I took off of a different KDK. That one, I think it was like one of the 90s when I got it, so I'm not sure. Yeah, it's the bottom one. And I am using the hook off of the white one. And it doesn't have that plastic grommet thing around it, so it will bounce around a little bit more when I turn it on and such, especially on each speed. I'm using this 5-speed KDK control that KDKs normally come with, unless you buy one used, and they usually don't come with them sometimes. But yeah, this one I got used for like a few bucks, so, and it works, so I figured might as well use this for the test the KDKs, just to have one specific one for KDKs, that way I don't have to keep looking around for other ones to use them. Plus, this one I had a weight put in, custom weight by somebody, so that'll be the perfect one to test KDKs with flights as well. So, yeah, without further ado, let me go ahead and start off on speed 1, which is the lowest speed. Now, this fan definitely does have a bit of a hum to it, but that is normal for KDKs when it gets very used. The brown and brass one at my grandparents' house in the dining room, that one makes the same exact noise as this. The one in my bedroom makes that noise just like it as well, but just not as loud as this one. The one in my grandmother's room kind of does it, but it's not nearly as much as the other two. It's just something that they do after they're really broken in over the years and such. The bearings on this were a bit noisy. When I first got it, I did put some oil in it, and that definitely helped out quite a bit. The bearings are still fine, it's just they were a little bit noisy. They spin just fine and everything's just... I don't know if it was the bearings, it might have just been something else, but might have just needed some oil in general. But these fans definitely do well. Like, after you oil them, they last a long time without needing work on them and such. And the best thing I feel about these fans is that the motors, you can literally open them up to replace the bearings pretty easily. Just like Universal, Universal or like Moss Caribbean Breeze fans and such. Those are pretty easy to open up. Same thing with these. So they're very easy to get into if you need to replace the bearings in them and such. But I think it's really important, especially for an industrial fan. Now, this one definitely seems to be going faster on speed 1 than they normally do in the Dominican Republic, and I feel that's because of the voltage being a little bit different up here. Down there it's like 110, up here it's 120 and such, so I feel like that's why they go a little bit faster. I mean, I've noticed with every video I filmed of them, that other people have filmed of KDK models up here, like Cleveland Fan Collector, or on Facebook, Brian Peterson, Cole Semenko, Fincher Transamore, Mark Wilson, Dan Spiffy Newman, Metal Pete, but more so the ones who have tested them with 5-speed controls that they come with. I've noticed they seem to go a tiny bit faster on 8-speed than they do in the Dominican Republic. So it's definitely because of the voltage up here, I've noticed, but I feel that's a good thing. But if someone wants a really low speed, they definitely want to work too well up here. Unfortunately, it definitely works better down there. I mean, it just goes a tiny bit slower than this. It's not like it goes that much slower, just a little bit. They don't have like that super low speed like you see on fans of solid state controls and such. Or like the Pro lines or relays that I've tested here, for an example. Never seen one go as slow as that. So, but it's pushing a nice breeze though. Like I use the one in my bedroom down there with the air conditioner on speed 1 at night, and just use the air conditioner when it's really hot. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and move it to speed 2. The nice thing with them is that, down there it makes more sense that they don't have a super low speed to them, because down there with the heat, people aren't going to use it on that speed at all. It's a low speed that, yeah, it's not for aesthetics, but it actually does move air on the speed. It's not like one that barely moves anything. So yeah, yeah. There's a tons of places I've seen these that church that I was talking about, the one that had 11 of them. They moved them outside a few years back. First, I thought they were just black ones they put out there, but then I noticed they were these ones. I just saw a glimpse of them outside, like driving by one time, so that's why I thought they were the newer black ones. But they had moved the brown ones from inside the church outside to use out there, because now they have AC inside. Which I feel they should have left the fans in there, but they did remodel the inside too to be all white, so maybe they might put white KDKs in there later on. Who knows? I feel like if that's the case, it makes sense if they want to have like a different look inside. But yeah, the speed 2 right here seems more like speed 3, from what I can tell. But yeah, there was that buffet place that had 4 of them. Now it's like a food truck restaurant and such. But where they used to have 2 white ones up front in like a deck area for people to eat, 4 of them inside, and then they had a white one out back in the kitchen area. Now I know I did do an update video of those. The one that was in the kitchen area, not the one with the beat up blades, because that was the one that had the beat up blades on it was one of the ones that used to be up front. But the one that was right above the kitchen area, the first one that was there originally, that one has burnt out and they got rid of it. It was just too much to repair and it wasn't worth it. Plus it was the newer 2009, 2011 era KDK, so it wasn't worth fixing. They do have all the brown and brass ones still. They did move one of them to the kitchen just to have up there. The other 3, they're stored away right now. And same thing with the KDK with the bent blades and one of the ones that they put in the kitchen later on as well. So I am kind of waiting to hear back if they are willing to sell them. The worker who I'm good friends with there, he has my number and such. He just has to talk to the owner and see what their plans are for fans. It's a good chance they'll probably sell them because they haven't used them in years and such. And I know the fans work and everything, so I might be able to sell a few of them like of this exact style to some people, but it's definitely going to be tricky to do because these are really hard to find and use. I find the newer ones all the time. I could always buy some of the newer one, but it's more expensive that way too. But this is the one that definitely performs a lot better out of the 2. But if you want it more so just for the look, the newer one's definitely a good option as well. But this is definitely a bit higher quality in terms of the build. It's not nearly as cheaply made like the newer ones are nowadays. The newer ones are still great fans, they're just a lot more flimsy. Like I noticed those type of blades get bent so much easier, like if something hits them compared to these ones. The blades on these are definitely a lot more resistant to blows and such like that. Alright, now for speed 3, which is going to be more like speed 4 due to the voltage up here. And it's making that sound that I really like that these make when they get faster. That's how you can tell that whoever owned it before really used it. When they make like that like whirring sound, like a startup sound of sorts, when they get faster. Oh yeah, there's pizza places down there called Pizza House that tend to have these installed in some of the locations. So nowadays they have the newer versions installed. There's certain, like, you see these sometimes like at barbershop, so like hair salons, gift shops. Some places have been using these ones now instead of the white ones in terms of buying the newer one. Well, the newer ones that is, just because they'd rather have the brown ones where they don't look so dirty or beat up over the years, whereas the white ones, that tends to be what happens with them. They usually get all yellowed and rusty looking, whereas the brown ones, yeah, they still get rusty, but you don't notice it that much, especially if they're running. Like the one at my grandparents' house, that one has newer blades on it, so it's from like 2008. So it has a lot more rust on it compared to the other ones. But since it blends in with it so much, you don't really notice it. Yeah, I definitely gotta test the other brown brass one, the newer one down here as well. It's just more so getting the down rod off of this one to put on that, because I definitely don't want to touch that one with the factory down rod it has, because it would hang too low down here for testing purposes. Basically, any adjuster that's down there, it's gonna have to be either down like about this height or a little bit lower, like a pro line type down rod. Those hang just a little bit lower than this, but it's not to the point where it would hang down a lot lower. Yeah, I have a lot of memories of seeing these as a kid. There's just so many of them that, for the sake of the video not being super long, I'm not going to mention them. But with the amount of videos I've shown of these fans out in public down there, you kind of get the idea how often I've seen these as a kid and to this day. All right, now to move it up to speed 4. See, it's almost like about speed 5 right now. Yeah, it's definitely like as powerful as 90s KDK is down there. Now, the real question is how strong the 90s KDK would be up here. I know those go even faster than the 2000s ever one like this. With the humming-ish sound that it's making, it's definitely a bit loud. So this isn't one I'd use for like a bedroom. For a living room or something like that, yeah. But at the same time, it's too nice of a fan to have in a bedroom, I feel. I feel like it's something more better to have like up front. Heck, I'd even use something like this in the kitchen, in all honesty. With a light on it and such. Plus, I'm not really into having brown fans in my bedroom. I'd rather have like something silver or like a lighter wood coloration, or white or black, but not brown. Brown's something I'd rather have up front somewhere instead. Yeah, I could say it's not exactly speed 5 from down there, but it's close to it. It's definitely a little bit more than speed 4. Yeah, I mean, just by the air movement, it's definitely not speed 5. But it's definitely going fast, though. Alright, now to put it up onto the highest speed, which is speed 5. There's a sound that I like, I think. I mean, it's not the exact sound, but it's pretty close to it. The one that I'm at my aunt's house, with the one that has that cable type light on it, and the one at my cousin's house that has that paper mache type motor on it. Those are the only two I have video of that really make that sound. That I've shown it making that sound and such. I don't want to say that it's exactly as fast as the 90s version, because I haven't seen one running up close in a while. I mean, I've seen them running I've seen them once in public, like at that. Now it's like it used to be a furniture store that they painted over where I got my first '90s one. Same thing with Mark. But now they only run a few of them, but I'm not up close to see those ones run up and such. I mean, the one that I got out of all the bunch also had the best bearings out of all of them too. So there's also that. He even has better bearings than all the other ones that I have. But I can say it's probably on par with the '90s one in terms of the air movement it's throwing off now, in terms of like how they run down there. But up here, I really have no clue if it would be the same. I'd have to test one to see. I feel they go just a tiny bit faster than '90s one on the highest speed down there. Basically, the '90s one there go a speed faster on each speed than the 2000s ever one, but this one's kind of going a little bit faster on each speed anyways, but I don't want to say it's exactly as powerful as the '90s one, but it's definitely close. I do know, like, if I end up getting another one like this, I will definitely try to get the other one from the museum, the white one, and swap it out with a brown and brass one like this. I feel like this is definitely more of a unique looking fan than the white one. Now, I know a lot of people definitely seem to enjoy this version more. So, I remember I was thinking about getting the newer version, but I feel like if it's something that can still be bought new, it's not worth putting in a museum. It's better to get one that they don't make no more like this. Plus, this one's more stronger too, so. Alright, now to shut off and do spin down. I already know the spin down is going to be quite a few minutes on this one. Hopefully it's not going to be like an 8-minute spin down. I have filmed some KDKs where the spin down is almost 8 to 10 minutes. Yeah, it definitely seems like one of the blades is a bit out of clock. I really don't want to mess with it though, and it's not really that bad of a wobble that it has. It's more so like when it's starting to start up or slow down that it does it. And if it wobbled like this on speed 1 and it continued to get worse on each speed, then I would try to do something about it, but it just has a normal wobble to it. So wobbling a lot like this now because there's really nothing above the canopy that's kind of securing it, like if it was like the ceiling and such, so that's another reason right there. But yeah, definitely a pretty nice feeling. I've always liked these as a kid and still do to this day. I'm glad they still sell it. The newer one that looks like it, like still has like a vintage look to it in this time of this day and age and such. I mean, there's a lot of people down there that still like have more of a like vintage looking stuff, not so modern. Like up here, everybody wants to have it look modern and such. In terms of like there's still like a thing that like down there, there's still people who have modern wise. There's still a lot of vintage looking stuff that can be used, whereas up here, the so-called vintage stuff is more so modern vintage and such. Whereas down there, there's a lot of stuff that you can buy to this day down there that still has a vintage look to it, like the same type of stuff that they'd make back then and such, in terms of like furniture, wooden decor, and all that stuff. dining tables and such. It really just depends where you go to get it. That's just it. I think a lot of people prefer to have the more older looking stuff instead of the up to date modern looking ones because they know a lot of the older type furniture it's a lot better quality than the newer ones. Not to say that the newer ones aren't good. It's just they just have more. They can trust it. They tend to have like more of a trust in the quality in those types of furniture instead of the really modern looking ones. And down there, what they usually do with furniture, they don't. They it's very rare that you see people get rid of the old furniture. What they usually do is they'll have it like get refinished, and when it comes to like couches or something, they'll just get the fabric changed. But yeah. Any day now. I mean, these things do have ball bearings in it, so that definitely does help with the super long spin down. But yeah. Alright, it's come to complete stop, so that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more videos to come.